Welcome to the show radio. And now, here is your host, Andrew Alliance.
What's up, guys? Thanks for downloading episode 326 of the show radio. I'm your host, Andrew, and this is your source for tech, gaming, and entertainment news. Head over to theshowradio.info. Once again, it's theshowradio.info. And check out my past shows. While you're there, subscribe and tell a friend about the show. The show's on iTunes, Android, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Google Play. Definitely check it out there. Thumbs up and subscribe is definitely appreciated. On this particular episode, I am going to be talking to Vinit Modi. Vinit Modi is the product strategist over at Ignition Design Labs, and they have a great product that was recently introduced to the world called Portal, and definitely looking forward to sharing that conversation with you. Before we get to that, definitely want to talk about my sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by ProXPN. ProXPN is a VPN service that secures your internet connection against eavesdropping, hides your location, and allows you to access your favorite sites no matter where you live or travel to. With it, no one can see the websites you visit or track your online activity. Check out theshowradio.info/ProXPN. Once again, that's theshowradio.info/ProXPN. And use the promo code SHORAM for 20% off the lifetime of your account. This podcast is also brought to you by Audible.com. Audible has over 180,000 plus audiobooks to choose from. Get your first audiobook free with a 30-day trial. Check out theshowradio.info/audiobook. Once again, that's theshowradio.info/audiobook for your 30-day trial. So definitely excited about this particular conversation. I've been checking out this router, the Portal router, and the interview you're about to hear is with Vinit Modi, product strategist for Ignition Design Labs. We talk about Portal, the router built for today's crowded and demanding urban environment. So enjoy the interview, and I'll talk to you on the other side. Right now, I'm talking with Vinit Modi, product and strategy person over at Ignition Design Labs. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, so I'm excited because I've been really testing out this particular router, the Portal Wi-Fi router, and it's absolutely amazing. It's doing things that I've never thought possible just on my network. I have about 15 devices, give or take. 6 to 7 are active most of the time, and it's been absolutely brilliant just seeing what the router has done. So I guess my first question for you is, I definitely want to say this particular router is built for today's crowded and demanding urban environments. What was the challenge and the problem that you were trying to solve when you were designing this router to come to the market?
Absolutely. Today we are having billions of wireless devices being sold. And what's happening is as we have more and more connected devices into our homes, from the Echo to iPads to these connected cameras, thermostats, they're all adding to the noise. So what I mean by that is, say, if you're living in New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, you have a lot of neighbors around you. Now, when everyone's moving to one of these smart homes with all these devices, all of them are talking to your router, but they're also talking in the neighborhood, if you will, right? A wireless connection, a signal, can go as much as 3/4 of a mile. Okay. So if you have a device in your house, it's actually looking for someone to talk to, and it can go up to 3/4 of a mile. So with that, when you have a lot of devices in one area, it's going to get crowded. And that's really where we realize Portal is the way to cut through the noise.
Yeah, it's definitely amazing just watching it happen. I actually recently installed this Fritz app. It's like a WLAN app on my phone, and just watching the consistency of the signal it's brilliant. I don't know what you guys did there, but I'm actually loving it. So as far as like challenges of bringing it to the market, well, can you tell me some stories in relation to that before bring the item actually out on? You guys had your Kickstarter and all that. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think when you bring something new to market, it's always it's tough, right? What we did is we identified the need, we built the product, and then when we brought it out to market with the Kickstarter, we had some growing pains. We have to own up to that, right? And I think every product does. One thing that we've done is gotten ahead of the problem and make sure that we communicate clearly to all our customers. And We have a support page where we maintain all the upcoming features. We talk about, with the community, we are very engaged with the community to make sure that their needs are met. One thing that's unique is that we're not only shipping this portal router to the United States, but the same router works in Japan and the entire European Union.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, you can unplug it here, move it to Europe, and it'll work.
That's
right?
awesome. That's really awesome. Now, by design, most routers don't do that. I guess just educate me in that area.
That's absolutely correct. The routers have to get certified by the regulatory body for each country. So you have Canada certification, US certification, Japan, and Europe has its own. For most of the countries, they have a standard certification. So routers that you buy today, even $400 or $500 routers, one of the reasons they're only available in the US, some of the newer ones especially, is because they're only certified for the US. But we have this one product that's certified across the world in many countries. So
did you have to go through all the certification processes to get the router to be able to, have a passport everywhere, basically?
Absolutely.
So how long does that process take, though?
So we actually demoed the router for the first time at CES last year.
Okay.
And we got the BGR CES award. We also got another CES award for the router. And then that was the first demonstration publicly. And then we launched the Kickstarter in about May timeframe. And, we're actually pretty proud the fact that we launched the Kickstarter project in May and we shipped in September to US customers, and we're shipping to European customers right now.
Yeah, it's really, really amazing. So some of the features, I guess I just want to highlight a few things. I want to make sure I don't forget. Smart gigabit home Wi-Fi system, easy setup, self-optimizing reliability, congestion busting 3x speeds, the AC2400, the MIMO, and then the Mesh 2.0 technology. So what about the antennas? Why 9 antennas?
So we want to build a very powerful router. And we're pushing the limit in terms of making sure that one router is good for a majority of homes, right? We think between 2,500 and 3,000 square feet is where one router will actually cover. My dad's property, it's about 10,000 square feet. Okay. And he gets, there's the yard and everything. So he's actually able to get internet coverage throughout his front and backyard with one portal.
Wow.
So the antennas are really helpful.
10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's, the 3,000 square feet, we're talking, wood, walls,
right.
In a normal home, right? First floor, second floor. I actually visited a friend in Canada. He has 3 floors and a basement. He was never getting Wi-Fi internet in his basement, and now he's getting full Wi-Fi internet in his basement with the portal on the second floor.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that magic a little bit later on. So just moving through cosmetics. So it looks really nice, right? It doesn't look like something that came off like an alien spaceship. So talk about the design and the aesthetics of the actual portal router.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time on that. I think, alien spaceship is one fun word. Another we like to call is a dead bug.
Okay.
So we all hated it, right? I mean, think of it this way. A lot of us have the cable connection for our TV from, Comcast or Time Warner or whoever. It comes right into the living room, right? And that's where we have to often keep our modems and our routers. So it doesn't look good when someone comes over to your house and half your counter on your TV stand is taken up by a router and all these things sticking out, right? We always laugh that imagine a dream where you're dreaming and you have all these creepy crawly spiders come up and try to attack you, and then it turns out it's your wireless dead bug router, and then you wake up.
So we have that. Okay, so another thing I did see, obviously taking it out of the box. I mean, simple, right? Simple process, beautiful packaging, a very simple packaging. I did notice also on the router there's 5 gigabit ports. That includes 1 port for your actual cable modem, and also 2 USB ports, 2.0 ports. Why 2.0 and why not 3.0?
Right now, 2.0 was the easiest to get it in there. There are some driver issues. There are some technical challenges with getting the 3.0 in there. That was the simple reason.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so the Bluetooth technology, the Bluetooth radio to set up, that was really, really cool. So talk a little bit about that with versus standard setups, which you actually do both.
Yeah, so we do both. I mean, one of the main reasons for Bluetooth was, back in the day, or with even some of the traditional routers today, you change a setting and then, you lose connectivity and everything just dies. So this is a way that, even if you make a mistake, it's okay, even if the portal loses the internet, because you can still talk to it over Bluetooth. Oftentimes, if it loses internet, you're host. So this is a way around it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so next thing I did notice or not notice is you guys decided not to go with a WPS button on the actual router. Was that a long debate or what kind of conversation surrounded that?
Yeah, actually, there's if you look at the internet standards today, WPS is not recommended. There's enough hacks out there that could exploit WPS. So we felt it's a security risk in actually order to have WPS. Even if you look at the latest internet, threat assessments, they recommend, even if you have WPS on your router, to actually not use it. WPA2 is actually extremely secure. So we do support WPA2, and all our passwords and everything are WPA2 encrypted.
That's awesome. Okay, so next thing definitely is the fast lane. So please, Vinit, spend some time here, okay? Definitely talk about the stuff and the technology happening here between fast lanes and also dynamic frequency selection for this particular router. So what is fast lanes?
Sure. So let's. I'll start with an analogy. That's always easier. So imagine if you have a 2-lane freeway. And think of that 2-lane freeway is the 5 gigahertz, spectrum, or the 5. It's called 5, the I-5, right? Easy name. I-5. It's 2 lanes, but guess what? Whether you have a Ferrari, Pinto, Prius, or Tesla, if there's traffic on I-5, they're all going the same speed.
Right.
Doesn't matter whether you have a 700 horsepower engine or a 50 horsepower engine. You're all crawling along.
Right.
Now, what the fast lanes are, the equivalent of a fast pass or easy pass, fast track, depending on what part of the country you're in.
Like HOV
and that's in HOV lane, exactly. So it's 4 new lanes on the freeway on I-5 where you can, if you have this pass, and that pass you get only with the portal, then you can zip along while everyone else is slowed down on the freeway. So even your even your Prius is going to go faster than the Ferrari that's stuck on the slow lanes.
Okay, so I have a question right there. Now, I know it works, okay? So I just want to ask you this question. How realistic and believable is this? Because there's individuals now who've never used a router like this, right? And never seen that technology in action. So elaborate on that a little bit. How realistic is fast lanes?
It's extremely realistic in crowded environments, especially cities. If you're not going to see a drastic difference in the middle of nowhere, right? In the middle of nowhere, fast lanes or normal lanes. Like if there's no one on the freeway, you can go 100 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour, doesn't matter, right? And it's very realistic. We actually had to go into the FCC labs in Maryland in order to actually get certified. And those fast lanes exist. All the Apple devices support it. Most of the Android devices support it. They just have never had a router that makes use of these fast lanes before.
Right. Okay. So I definitely want to talk about some speed since we're on the topic. So before I installed the Portal router, I was getting 50 down and maybe 28, 29 up on my phone. Okay. The actual the actual plan that I have is Ultra 100. So I get 100 down and 37 up, or 35. It's listed 35. On my phone now, ever since I installed the Portal router, I'm getting 115 down and 35, 36 up. I've never received those speeds. It's always been 50 or somewhere in that range, as far as download, and then maybe 28, 29 upload. I'm actually getting more than it's listed for my actual plan for Optimum Online, which is what I have in New York. So kudos to you. I know you deserve more than kudos. Maybe coffee and cake and dinner. To actually
we'll take the $10 a month.
yeah, right. So just to see that, and even on the laptop, so I'm getting more on the Wi-Fi than I'm actually getting on the Ethernet connected to the actual switch. So I don't know exactly how that's happening. And it doesn't matter exactly where I am. I guess that's by way of testimony. It doesn't matter where I am and my home. It's one floor, no basement or anything like that. But in any room that I'm in, I'm actually getting at least 100 down and 35, 36 up, which is amazing.
Awesome.
So definitely wanted to share that with you. So in regards to that, let's definitely touch on the dynamic frequency selection and what that means. And also before we jump on that, definitely talk about the military and commercial radar stuff as it relates to Fastlane.
Exactly. So right now, we talked about the I-5 freeway with the four lanes. What happens is those 4 lanes are right now reserved for military radar, aircraft radar, as well as weather radar. So, if any of those things happen on those 4 lanes, there are very specific rules, which is within less than a second, actually 200 milliseconds, you got to get off of that lane, and you cannot come back to it for at least 30 minutes. And these are regulations set up by the government, right? We just have to follow them. So in every portal is actually a secret, which is a radar detector that actually detects whether there's a radar happening on any of those 4 lanes simultaneously. And that's how it ties into the dynamic frequency selection, which is it's scanning for radar on all 4 channels at the same time. So as soon as it detects, there's a radar, and oftentimes there could even be a false radar detect. We can talk about that. It moves the portal from, say, lane 1 to lane 2. If there's another radar on lane 2, it moves back to lane 3. And then after the FCC regulations, after the 30 minutes, it detects there's nothing now on lane 1, moves you back to lane 1.
Okay.
So that's how.
So that's amazing. So what's a false radar then?
Yeah. So oftentimes, just in our environment, it could be that there's a false radar detect, and it's all around the detection algorithm, if you will. So it happens very commonly, especially in cities. Like it could be that the sensor thinks that something, an airplane flying by could be a radar event, for example, right? So those kinds of things. Think of the DFS, or the dynamic frequency selection. It's really autopilot. That's the easiest. I keep going back to the car analogy, but it's the autopilot for your router. You just turn it on, and then it takes care of it to make sure you always get the fastest internet.
Okay, so now the thing with Portal right now. So are you setting the standard now for like the 4-minute mile or whatever that mile is to run? So now that you've done that, where you can actually say you guys are doing it automatically within the actual router itself, do you feel that other companies will follow suit and be like, okay, so if it can be done now, we see it in action, why are we not implementing that feature in our router? What do you think that conversation sounds like right now?
We'd be thrilled, and we'd be happy to we'd be happy to get paid for all the awesome patents that we have around this, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So if our competitors are listening, happy to talk to them.
Awesome. Okay, so how many antennas are you using for the DFS? Is it all of them, or just certain antennas within the actual framework of the portal?
So we have 9 total antennas, and most of them are dedicated for the Wi-Fi, and then there's one for the radar detector.
Okay, sweet. All right, so next thing is the web interface, right? Definitely simple, definitely clean. Very easy on the eyes, which I love. There's some features that many would say that are lacking from launch, but you guys are definitely working very, 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 very hard, right? Losing a lot of sleep to make sure these features come. So one of the features definitely is the adaptive band steering. So definitely, I know that So I guess I'll say this: talk about the features that are coming, and talk about the features that are coming really, really soon.
Sure. So we're actually we've added a lot of features in the last couple of months, and a lot. I do want to thank our Kickstarter community and everyone that's bought a portal. We couldn't have gotten this far without them. So thanks to them and all of their input, we have listened to them, and all the features that you see in there and the prioritization of those features has been due to our community. We are very responsive to them, so that's a top priority for us. So what's coming up next? We're releasing next week. We're releasing band steering, and then let me talk a little bit about that. It's basically right now there are two bands, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, and people have to consciously select, which one do I pick, right? And it can be confusing. I'll talk about someone like my dad, where he's like, okay, I don't really know what each of this is. Right. Why do I have to pick, right? And so that's the problem we're solving with this. Is now all you do is pick, Portal as your Wi-Fi network, and then we'll take care of, again, optimizing, making sure that your devices are operating on the fastest lanes when you're in range, and then are still operating on the normal lanes when you're further away, to make sure that you get the fastest internet. So that's band steering.
Okay, so a couple of quick thoughts there before you move on.
Sure.
So if I name my network one name, that's when that magic happens? Is that what we're talking
about?
Okay, cool.
Exactly. Yep. And then the feature, the big feature after that, which is the following week after next, is mesh. And what that's for is really very, very large homes. 4,000, 5,000. We had one customer with a 7,000 square foot home. Wow. And it's a huge house. So for those large properties, mesh is a way where you connect up two portals and they talk to each other wirelessly. And now with your one network name, call it portal, you get true whole home coverage for your 7,000 square foot house.
Okay, so random thoughts there also. So is that like a bridge, basically?
So we can. It's because the wireless connection, because it can be wireless between the two portals. That's the industry term for that is mesh.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you if you have run cable across the two rooms across your house, you can also do that, and that's where it would be more of a bridge.
Gotcha. See, that's why you're here. That's why you're here to help me with these terms. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so what else is coming that would be considered standard on a router that currently is being worked on right now by Portal?
Yeah, so we have a number of features around VPN, QoS, port triggering, parental controls. Those are the things that are coming very soon. And that's, for about 90% of the people, these are very, very advanced features. For 90 to 95% of our audience, everything that Portal supports today will work. This is really for, if you have an IT setup, you're doing a lot of we have actually one customer in Florida. He has 40 devices, and he's running 10 Windows servers out of Portal. Wow. And so for those kinds of very technology heavy, more almost like an IT level setup is where some of these features are more important. And that's what we're working towards to make sure that those set of customers are also supported.
That's insane. So Portal is available now?
Yes, available now on Amazon.
Right. So talk about the price point. So all the technology that you're getting in this particular router versus, let's definitely touch on that, because I think that's a very important point to make, because even this past Thanksgiving, depending on the individuals listening, whether they sub or not, is where you get around family, eat a lot of food, that kind of a thing. So we spend the time talking to a buddy of mine about a new router. He purchased a new router, and he's trying to figure out why he's getting inconsistent speeds on the line. And I want to pitch Portal, because I definitely believe what you guys are doing, and I've seen it for myself because it's awesome here. So So that conversation is very, very touchy, especially because we know, the router is the main thing running our home.
It's the gateway.
It's the gateway to our internet and stuff like that. So that's
Exactly.
always a touchy conversation. So price point, and which I don't even think it should be a conversation based on the technology that you guys are offering, but definitely touch on that, please.
Sure. So we're priced pretty aggressively. We're $199 retail on Amazon, and so this is very competitive to some of the other routers that are currently on the market. You'll end up spending for the same. What we've seen is oftentimes people are advertising higher speeds, but those higher speeds are great if you live on a farm. But you'll never achieve any of those speeds in a crowded city environment, right? So that's really where our bread and butter is. And for those types of environments, $199 we feel is a very, very sweet price point.
Very cool. So is there anything that I didn't touch on that you wish I did touch on before we close?
We can talk, if you like, we can talk about kind of the easy setup. We can talk about the Plex options. I know that was something that you wanted to talk about. We're happy to cover that and happy to cover the reliability aspect as well.
So we'll touch on those two things. So definitely Plex option. I know the issue that I'm having right now, I guess I'll share it with you since you're here.
Sure.
Is when I'm actually trying to do my Pro XPN, which is my VPN service, it doesn't stay connected all the time. I don't know if there's a particular port thing I need to do on my end for it to work. I guess the main question I had for you is, are you in the near future going to have Plex embedded as a native thing on the actual portal router?
Got it. So I'm happy to make sure that we touch base after this for your specific issue. And we have had a lot of users use Plex. So what they've done is they've manually added port forwarding to the Plex port that's supported. I've written a document on it, so we can walk through that. And then the other thing we're adding is UPnP support, and that's coming in next week. And with that, once you enable that, you'll be able to use dynamic port forwarding for Plex. Now, in terms of Plex server embedding into the portal itself, that's something that we're looking at. We have some pretty cool stuff planned, and so I don't want to open up.
Don't be afraid to talk about the cool stuff planned. Don't be afraid.
It's not Christmas yet.
Okay.
but that's something definitely that we're keeping an eye on.
That's awesome. And setup, you definitely want to touch a few things on setup?
Yes, on the setup. So, one of the things we've seen is we are very privacy conscious. One thing that's happened these days is, our email, our phone numbers are getting more and more out there. People are using them to track us. They're doing all these kinds of things, throw ads at us. So a lot of the newer routers these days are requiring almost for you to have your email and password in order to actually set up your router. And then guess what they do? They actually send you emails, they follow you, they try to, they keep track of what you're doing, right? So one of the things that we've done is we have a true accountless setup in which you've experienced, wherein we don't ask for the username, password, we don't ask for your email, we don't ask for your phone number. And I think that's important for us as a brand because what we feel is we value the user's privacy. And this is, Europe and Japan are even further ahead than US in terms of privacy laws. So we're actually compliant to the privacy laws even in Europe and Japan, as well as, more privacy forward in the US. So that's something I did want to touch on. Awesome.
So in terms of when you say ahead, how far ahead and is there a lot of, hoops to jump when it comes to, overseas versus US when it comes to those things?
There definitely is. There are hoops, and I think that's one of the things we've done is make sure that we jump through those hoops to account for that. And it was actually a technical breakthrough, right, where you could actually pair your phone with your portal, still be able to control it, still act as the keys to your portal with your phone, but actually without having to give your email address or phone number in order to actually go set that up.
Right, which would take some time, like, a quick accident, but tons of paperwork kind of thing. But you guys made it definitely easy. No, I really do appreciate it. Everything that you guys are doing, I really do appreciate it. Definitely wanted to have this conversation with you and your team, because you guys are doing great things. So you did mention that it's available now on Amazon. And I guess there's some links and where we can find actual portal besides Amazon and things like that. And then we'll close out.
Awesome. So right now we're exclusively on Amazon. We are looking to have a store on our website as well. But right now, Amazon is the main way to get one.
Awesome. Vinit, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I really appreciate for this opportunity and, look forward to it.
Thanks for listening to episode 326 of The Show Radio. The show is on iTunes, Android, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Google Play. Subscribe with your favorite podcatcher at theshowradio.info/listen. Once again, that's theshowradio.info/listen. Featured track on this episode is called Pray by Vincent Akram. Link will be in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. As always, right now I'm getting ready to watch the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. So looking forward to doing that. Maybe I'll do a show on that. Not sure yet, but definitely appreciate you listening. Please share this episode with a friend that's looking forward to purchasing a router soon, because this router is definitely dope. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
You're listening to The Show Radio. Visit our blog at theshowradio.info. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes at theshowradio.info/iTunes. theshowradio.info/iTunes.